to Her Secret Success, where we're guiding women in leadership to be unstoppable. My name is Annette Bacon, and I'm your host. I'm really excited that you're here with me today, and I wanted to take a little bit of time to speak to you and introduce to you the reason why, my why for having this TV show. And I really am excited because uh, for a very long time in my previous work life and my career, I worked in a lot of leadership roles, everything from team leader, coordinator, right up into general manager and in senior management and everything in between. And during that time, one of the things that was a constant experience for me was working in environments that were either toxic or really unhealthy, or where I wasn't able to be who I really wanted to be as a leader. And when I tried, I would be shut down, I'd be silenced, I'd be put to the side. I just felt like I just kept hitting that ceiling uh, any time I tried to, you know, make any kind of personal impact on a work in my leadership and with my teams. So probably, I would say probably about 5 years ago. No, so about 4 years ago, I had a very very toxic experience, and that really knocked me. That knocked the wind out of my sails. I ended up having time off work for work stress and really from the trauma that I experienced in that moment. And it was at that moment in time that I realized that no matter how hard I was trying, I was not going to make the impact that I wanted to make, to have the influence on workplace culture and on my teams in the way that I really wanted to be able to do that. So I began to ask myself the question, should I stay? Should I go? And I think that's a really important question. And when you come to that place, it's usually because, you really have tried to do everything. You've tried to do everything that is expected of you. You try and fit the molds that are put there. You try and do workarounds all the time, trying to work out, what's my fix to work around situations and systems and processes and whatever it is that's kind of stopping you from being able to step into the person that you really want to be as a leader. So I made the decision at that time to start my business, Transforming Minds Coaching, which is also now Transformation Studios. And the reason I went down that path was because I had done a lot of educating of staff and a lot of professional development. I'd run leadership programs, and I'd done the training and I'd trained people and I'd given them the skills and the knowledge that they needed. But what was happening, or what wasn't happening, was the thinking shifts, the behavior changes. There was no change in behavior, or limited change, or not sustainable change in behavior and attitudes. So I started to ask myself, well, then what's the gap? And that's when I did some research and I fell into coaching. I fell into the psychology that also underpins coaching. And that was an exciting time for me because I started to really see how the neurosciences and the positive psychology and all the various different psychological theories really were now the potential, could be this potential, uh, address this potential gap that I had found. So I started my own professional development journey down that pathway and learning everything I could around coaching and the psychology that's in that. So fast forward to 2025, as I've been on that journey and learning and growing and working with clients, I've worked with small businesses, in terms of work culture. I've also worked with women in business and in leadership. And as I have started working with my clients, I have really listened to their feedback. And one of the most powerful aspects is when there's that light bulb moment, that awareness that pops up, that self-awareness of, oh my gosh, where I am today is a result of all of the thinking that has gone on before. And the thinking and the decisions, the energy, the thinking and the decisions that I've made in the past have brought me to where I am today. And my clients, I understood that. And then my clients started to understand that as I was helping them to have those moments of self-awareness. And really, the key is self-awareness. Nothing's going to change until you are aware that there is not just the problem, but what is underneath that problem, what is causing that problem. So now the focus became, okay, how do I now work with my clients? Well, I did the work myself first. I used those theories and what I was learning in my own journey, in my own leadership journey. And as I started to apply that thinking around, retraining my brain, understanding what thinking was working for me, what thinking wasn't working for me, understanding the need for boundaries, and taking all of that and putting that into my leadership, I stepped up and began to lead myself like I'd never done before. I started to step into my confidence and into the boldness that I had within me. The more I became aware of the fact that it is all within me. It wasn't missing. It wasn't lost. It's always been there. I just kind of silenced it. I pushed it aside. And I was learning to go, no, let that woman out. Let her voice be heard. And as I went through that journey, it was transformational in myself personally. It was transformational in who I showed up as a leader for my team and in my workplace, and where I started to really draw the line, where I started to go, no, enough is enough. I can't control what's externally happening to me. What I can do and what I have complete control over is how I respond in those moments. And as I began to learn that for myself and step into that place, yeah, that was empowering. That was when I went, wow, you know what? I've been there all this time. I'd just been silenced. I'd allowed myself to be silenced. I'd allowed myself to be shelved and pushed aside. So as I started to experience that, I then started to have the understanding for myself that staying in a work environment, staying in that employed as an employee, was not going to work for me anymore. I could not have the impact that I wanted with all of this knowledge that I was now accruing. I could not have the impact of that knowledge in the way that I wanted to with clients, with staff. So that's when I started my business. And then as I took what I was learning and started to use that with my first clients and I got feedback, I watched as they were having the same awareness moments. They were also, putting into practice the strategies that I had used successfully, and they were starting to see success as well. And it was like a light bulb moment. And then I said, okay, this is it. This is the gap. Yes. I found it. I found the missing link. I found what it is. Yes, as an educator, I bring skills and knowledge into that space because that's part of learning new things, is learning the skills and the knowledge. But the next step is also, or another part of that, is actually really the personal work of the individual in that space, and how and examining in our past experiences and how that has led to where we are now, and then drawing a line in the sand saying, right, from today, because from this moment, right in this moment, right now, today, you can make the change. It's a decision away. And once I had made that decision myself, and I had learned the power of making that decision and then taking immediate imperfect action, then I started to bring that into my coaching as well. And what I found was it was so empowering to be able to not get caught up in the story and that kind of victim story over and over, and saying, I'm stuck in this place because of my past. Now I can be liberated by by having different thinking and making different decisions and taking immediate action and putting things into play, immediate, consistent, imperfect action. So that's the background to the build up to why I'm launching Her Secret Success. As I have been working with my clients, more and more, I've come to realize that I'm still limited to the clients that I see face to face or the clients that I'm doing group coaching with. But for me, this message is too powerful. It's too powerful to not get out there, that we are bold, we are confident, we are unstoppable. Women, we are all of those things. So I started to kind of say, okay, how am I going to have the greatest impact and get this message out to as many women as I can in my local area, nationally across Australia, and globally? And as I started to kind of do, again, some research and put myself out there, I came across Diane Forster, who I am part of the I Have Today network now. And she introduced me to the concept of a TV host. And that, again, was the next game-changing moment in my business and in my vision and mission in working with women, empowering women to be able to step into that bold leader within, that confident leader that is already within them. So as I did the research and as I did the training and as I connected with Diane, the thing I loved about Diane is I'm the kind of person that if I want to be the best, I'm learning from the best. I'm looking for the people in my life that have the success that I want, personally or professionally. And then I'm learning what they do, what are their strategies, and then I'm using those strategies for myself. I'm taking what they're using and I'm putting that in my life. So when I looked at Diane's model and what she was doing and the success she had, I knew that this was going to be the pathway for me. And that was exciting. So that brings me to Her Secret Success and the launch of my first season. I just want to say that it is an honor and a privilege to be able to come before you and have this time with you. I know that time is a valuable commodity. It's priceless. We only get 24 hours in a day. So how we spend our time and our energy and our focus is really important. So I want you to know that I absolutely value and treasure every second that we are connecting. And my intention for the first season of this show is to bring that connection with you, to bring value to you, for you to be able to see and understand, to see and acknowledge and be aware of how toxic work environments have potentially impacted in your personal and professional lives. So we're going to be exploring that. And we're also going to be having every second episode. So the first episode will be you and I having a conversation where I'm sharing with you my tips, sharing with you my strategies. We'll have a theme, and there'll be some really powerful strategies that you'll be able to use, and we unpack the theme of that session. And then the very next episode, I'm actually having a guest speaker. They will either be somebody who has lived experience, or they'll be somebody who's an expert in the field that we're talking about. And that's an opportunity so that you can really connect with their story. And what I'm hoping is you'll be able to see what is really possible when we do this work. Because at the end of the day, it takes work. It takes work. It takes conscious, intentional work to bring change. But it is possible. It is possible. It is possible. I promise you, it is possible. And that's what I want to bring through my show, is that possibility of things being different, of wherever you are right now, whatever has you stuck in this moment where you feel like you can't confidently be the leader that is in you, then let's work together with that. Let's work on that. Let's get you moving forward, because it is possible. I have done that, and I have walked that journey, and I am still walking that journey, because coming out of a work environment and then coming into my own business, that was a whole nother ball game too, because I relied on systems and processes and accountability of management and all of the structures of a work environment. I now am the sole person who I am accountable to. And it's up to me now to build my business and build accountability into that myself. But it was a real challenge, and still can be, when you are when you're building those structures and building accountability. So it's had its own challenge. So I'm still on this journey about, excuse me, I'm still on this journey about stepping into, who I am as a leader. There are times when, before I started this program, before I started recording this program, I have had even struggles there. I've had, those fears of being an imposter, the fears of, not being perfect. And ultimately, under those fears are the fear to be rejected, the fear that I won't be good enough, the fear that they won't like my content, they won't like me, the fear that I was a highly competent speaker and trainer and educator and had so much flow, and then the gift of menopause come along and I'm, I struggle with brain fog. So all of those challenges have been there and still are there, and I'm overcoming them day by day by day. So the leadership journey of stepping into that boldness and stepping into that confidence and finding your flow and finding grace in that space is a lifelong journey, so it doesn't end. But what we can do is build line upon line, precept upon precept. You can build upon the foundations and start to make those changes and start to have the results that you really want. So I guess that's what I'm saying in terms of what my vision and the purpose and intent for Her Secret Success is really about. So I hope that resonates with you. And I'm really looking forward to launching my first episode and joining, and I invite you to join me for that. The first episode will be around, how to recognize a toxic work environment. And then my guest speaker will be somebody who has worked in an industry where, it was a highly toxic work environment and it was very male dominated. So there was a lot of, masculine energy and a lot of shutting down of that feminine energy. So that is going to be an amazing conversation coming up. And like I said, the structure of this is going to be, I'm going to have the first episode will be us. It will be me having a conversation with you and a theme and bringing some strategies for you to then implement. afterwards, and then having the guest speaker. And that's actually going to be over 17 episodes, which I'm really excited about. That will take us into just before Christmas. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you over the coming weeks. And I just invite you right now to pause, take a moment, and recognize that you are worth investing in. You are worth taking the time aside to really look inwards and ask yourself, is there anything that is holding me back from being that bold, confident leader that you want to be? And it's a powerful question to sit back and ponder and reflect on. What is stopping you? What is keeping you stuck? And I want you to think about that. And I want to ask yourself, I want you to think from a vision, put on a visionary hat for a moment and ask yourself, what do you want it to look like? What could it look like? What do you want it to be like? What do you want for your leadership? Whether you're leading your own business, whether you're in a work environment and you're in a leadership role, what do you want your most authentic self as our leader to look like? And I invite you to think about that vision and to really describe it. There is power in writing, and there's something about, as you're writing something, it reinforces our neurology. It's a very powerful technique. So I just encourage you to take a moment and write down, what is that vision for myself? If I had no glass ceiling, if nothing was holding me back, if there were no strings, if there were no expectations, if there were no, critics or judgments, what would I be? Who could I be in that moment? What kind of leader do I want to be? And I want you to think about that and really take that on board, that vision for your leadership. We are going to do some powerful work in the coming weeks where we will do things like visualizing what that looks like for yourself. There's some powerful strategies coming your way. I just want to say that, again, take the moment, take the time, write it down, and perhaps even a vision board where it can help reinforce your vision. I've got vision boards for about 4 or 5 different areas in my life, and they are something that I visually look at, and the images and the words and the quotes and whatever it is that I've got on their colors, they all have meaning to me, and there's something that I see, and visually I am in that future, and it anchors me in that future and to that vision. So what I'm asking you to do between now and my first episode and throughout our journey together is to start to get some clarity around who you want to be as a leader. And then as we're going along this journey together, keeping that vision, and it will change. I did not have vision that I was going to be a TV host in my original vision. I really do now. So that has been something that has been organically evolving over the past 4 years. And here I am today, having this conversation with you, recording my first video. So take those moments just to start that visionary process. And I look forward to joining with you this season and the first episode of Her Secret Success where we'll be able to dive deep into unhealthy, toxic work environments, how to recognize them and the impacts that they've had on you, and where to go from there. So this is Annette Bacon, and I am your TV host for Her Secret Success, and I am part of the I Have Today network with Diane Forster and some amazing TV hosts, and we are streaming through Gideo TV coming soon, and we'll be streaming on websites and YouTube channels. I have a YouTube channel as well. So my action to you is subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I look forward to seeing you in my first and ongoing episodes of Her Secret Success, where I'm guiding women in leadership to be unstoppable. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you.